You want to sit on the other side?
Yeah,
so I can
probably.
see? What's nice about this meter here is the ultimate, we have control of everything. It can also be the downfall because there is so much control in everything we do. So we start here with your site. Every setup, every test, every installation you go to, you should go through the process, even if you preset it. Once you get there, go through this process. I highly recommend just getting into the groove of constantly going through. Have you guys used the wizard before? Here, you can simply begin your wizard, and it's going to take you through all the steps. These are the meat, the required steps that you should take every single time in order to have this meter completely programmed. We're going to want to do this. So it'll go step 1 of 21. You know, it's simply, what does it say down there? I can't even read. It looks like it's in a different language right now.
Need glasses?
No, I just need the, I don't want to click site, create site button for new site. So, you know, here you can create your sites, create it from defaults, create it from current. I don't know if you have any sites saved on your meter here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure enough. Yep,
The SIM was the one that says SIM is our office. That's the pipe that we were discussing online, or on the phone.
All right, so.
Anyway, set new.
And you set it there, and you can simply go next down here. And it's going to highlight if we want it in English. Fluid materials, tap water. Pipe materials, copper. Type L. 1-inch copper type L. No liner. Pipe material. These are all preset because we used it in the previous screen. You can do either or if you want to make small adjustments yourself. Wall thickness gauge if you want to use that. Liner material is none, so those...
Wall thickness gauge, is an ultrasonic wall thickness. You'd buy a unit that would plug in, and then you could check.
Correct, it would plug right into your transit time connections.
Okay.
And it is used with the meter here if you want to go back.
My boss is very interested in purchasing that from you guys. So.
Okay, so if you go back, instead of doing the copper type L, to put it to manual, and go back to pipe, it'll engage the gauge button.
Okay.
You hit this, it's going to take you to another window here in a second. What this does is you would connect your wall thickness gauge. It's just one little sensor. You put it right in the pipe. You have to have the type of pipe and the material. You have to put 1-inch pipe, copper.
Right.
So it knows what it's sensing, and it's going to be able to tell you the wall thickness, the actual wall thickness. As you guys know, not every pipe is perfectly machined. It's not always identical. So there are small differences in wall thickness, which means small differences in inside diameter, which in a velocity meter equals percentage of error.
Right.
So
right.
You know, we have controlled lab.
A little bit of diametral difference is a huge cross-sectional area difference, is what you're using to calculate flow. So.
Correct. Yeah, if you're off, say 1% on your wall thickness,
huge.
That's huge. And, you know, that's at least a 3%, if not more, error. When you do, especially the larger you go, it's going to create some issues. I always use the wall thickness gauge, even if the guy's like, it's a 10-inch carbon steel schedule 40. Okay, yeah, I can do that. But a lot of times I'll just put on wall thickness gauge, just make sure.
No, it'll feed back the exact wall thickness, or what is the tolerance on that?
Correct. So you'll hook it up before you put anything on. It's everything's a 1%, I believe. I should get the literature just to double check.
Yeah, it would be interesting because I'm certain we have all the time. We do a lot of cooling water work for the mills, and of course some of these systems have been in service for years. So we can go out there and we can grind off a piece of pipe, make it nice and clean on the outside, just a little bit, and then put that sensor on there, and we can take readings at elbows and things like that. I don't know how it would work for doing ultrasonic testing to give the customer, hey, you think you have a 1/4-inch wall pipe, but you're down to 125 thousandths. You might want to think about changing that elbow And that, to them, is valuable information that they're willing to pay for, because if they have a breakout, now they have unscheduled downtime, a lot of, production loss. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a hard sale to do any ultrasound technology. Some of the guys I've been finding, it's difficult to sell them on this is actually a reading, or that wall thickness is getting thin, or what's the biggest argument I would have? There's air in your line. No, there isn't. And a lot of times it is. Yeah. And once we finally get the bleeders in there and we balance their system out for them, they're static. But it's that initial.
They don't believe that what you tell them.
Yeah, and if we use this properly, like you're saying, there's so many different.
This is a valuable tool to us, and that's why I've been talking to my bosses and saying, listen, we really need to get a handle on this, and I literally have so much work booked for this thing. I could be out at the mills all this week working with this thing, and I had a guy want me to come out and check that 60-inch water main again yesterday, and I blew him off, knowing that I was coming here today. I didn't want to tell him that, hey, we don't have faith in our meter. Yeah. Would you shoot myself down?
Yeah, and you have. Do you have the full kit, or?
That is the what?
I think they
full?
do.
I think it is the full.
I don't know if you have the small pipe thing.
We have the little handheld device that holds up right on the. I think that's down on the bottom there. And then I have DTTLs and DT.
There should be
I think you have
there should be 3 of them.
Yeah.
We ended up buying the large ones separately.
Oh, okay.
Just recently. I couldn't get a reading on that 60-inch pipe, and then before we sent the meter back for repair, we bought those, and I went out in the field and we got good numbers. Well, meantime, they made some piping changes, and they says, we want to know what the reading is now after they had a butterfly valve that was broken, and it just kept flapping shut, and they would lose water pressure occasionally. So they went in and they put a new butterfly valve in on a downturn, and then they got control of that, and once they had it, they wanted to know now what are we doing? And I haven't been able to answer their question, so they're kind of frustrated, and so am I.
How far away from the butterfly valve are you measuring this?
Oh.
Long ways.
Yeah, it's, way more than 10 diameters of pipe, and it's probably 100 yards.
The minimum we say is 10 pipe diameters. Of course, a butterfly is one of the worst possible upstream valves. I like to see around 24 pipe diameters after.
We easy had that. It was
okay.
100 yards.
There's 100 yards easy. It was actually the water main came out of the main service water pump plant, went through the butterfly valves, through a strainer, another set of butterfly valves, so they could isolate the strainers, and then the run went underground, came out in a tunnel, and we're down in this tunnel. You can't even see your hand in front of your face, and. So in there with headlamps on, climbing all over this pipe trying to get readings. So I get to do that again. That'll be fun.
Oh man, sorry then.
No, it's good money. I don't care.
Okay, so you would put the wall thickness gauge on. You're gonna see some waveforms. You don't put anything on. You make sure it's clean, and you're just holding it. It's gonna do a reference. So what you would do is you would just sit there and wait. You're gonna see some waveforms popping up, and these little bars are searching for it, but since we don't have anything hooked up right now, it's not doing what it's supposed to, of course, but you'll see like a little spike of waves that's gonna zero in on that and give you a zero. You would apply transducer, and that kind of gives you the reference mark. I just grabbed a random area, but it would grab that, then you put it on the pipe with coupling grease. The best one probably being
111.
That's
the 100.
We have that heavier bodied stuff. I don't care for that. It doesn't seem like that stuff works really well.
Yeah, this works good, and it's easier to clean off, especially for this unit. We're not installing them and leaving them. If you are going to install this to do any kind of data logging overnight, leaving it, don't use the Aquasonic.
It'll evaporate.
Yep, it'll run off, evaporate. Use the gel,
That's right.
the Dow 111. But for your purposes, I think mainly you're there proving or disproving flows. I'd use the run out of ink.
No, it's just finicky.
Oh.
A friend of mine made this for me, and I carry it, and then it's like every now and then it just goes on the blink. Oh, guess what?
Goes on the blink because it's out of ink.
It's out of ink.
There's a
It's
pen,
blinky.
if you need a pen.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully it
So
works.
much for the
Fancy dancy.
fancy pen.
And if you run out or you're running low for the wall thickness gauge, I found the best coupling grease to use with the wall thickness gauge is spit. I know that sounds disgusting, but it's phenomenal. I was in a pinch, and I did it, and it worked great.
No tobacco products.
No tobacco, none.
Big chalk.
Yeah. Lubricants, if you're out there, Vaseline kind of works. It's one of the lower ones that I would use, but you know,
In a pinch.
O-ring lubes, anything they have in the shop works great for the transit time, the Dopplers, and the wall thickness.
Okay.
Spit doesn't work good with the sensors there, though. You want some kind of grease for those. So then you would just hook it up, it would zero in, it would give you your measurement, and you would just set that. And then once you set it, you close it, and your wall thickness would be pulled in. I wonder if some of the guys here might have a wall thickness gauge I can steal from them so I can show you how
Now
it
that
would
wall
work.
thickness gauge will only work on a full pipe,
Correct. Yeah,
static.
Every
It has to be no flow.
no, there can be flow in it for
There can
wall
be flow,
thickness.
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But there has to be full of water,
Yes.
or liquid.
Yes. I've never actually tried it without being full, but everything in our literature and everything always says it has to be full pipe for Dynasonics, so I stick with yes. That'd be a good test. So you can always go right back into your whole set here. Just going to start over because I messed with it. And also, I should probably go back and rechange this because I was changing your saved file.
No, that's okay. It was
Change
just,
back.
we were just playing around with it in the office trying to, what set this whole thing off, like I said, was we had an opportunity to measure the flow on an existing 4-inch pipe, had a flow meter on it. Before we sent this in for repair, we walked up to that thing, put the sensors on there, clamped all the clamps on, bam. We matched that meter, I mean, tick for tick. If it was 850 or 849 or 851, this meter was tracking it perfect. We went back after the repair, hooked it on that pipe, 200 GPM approximately less. And we're like, well, okay. And I cleaned everything up, remounted the sensors,